Callie Foss, Biochemic Lore Part 3. In practical chemistry, throw some potassium salt on water and it generates such a powerful electrical current that the hydrogen is separated from the oxygen, takes fire, and burns with its characteristic violet flame in the released oxygen. And this is a side note that reminds me of Pisces as fire water sign. It also reminds me of water sign Pisces shift to fire sign Aries. It also reminds me of how the crown chakra is correlated with the color violet and air sign Libra, which sits opposite Aries. But continuing on here. Thus, the two gases, hydrogen and oxygen, disappear. They have returned into the invisible, having been chemically released. If the imagination is active, it is easy to picture in the mind's eye, the optic thalamus, the inverse operation, the process whereby the great chemist and architect of the universe invisibly unites or forges the two gases, oxygen and hydrogen, and precipitates them in the form of water. The unification is done by electricity, the hidden fire. And potassium is this soft, brilliant, bluish-white metal melting at about 62 degrees Celsius to a liquid resembling mercury. And in astrology, Mercury is the messenger of the gods or ruling powers, as potassium is truly the food by which the gods or gray matter are nourished. And if you've looked at other posts that I've shared, or maybe I didn't mention it yet, but I just shared the text. The Gemini salt is another potassium salt, Kali myrrh. It's potassium chloride, and Gemini is most often paired with mercury and the I guess with mercury. I thought I was going to say something else, but maybe I'm just in my head. Okay, so um potassium, okay, I'm going to say that again though. Potassium is truly the food by which the gods or gray matter are nourished. Potassium is a carrier of fire. It is a conveyor, it is a medium of life, a medium of fire, for fire is life and life is spirit. As the cerebrum is the house of God, the sensory nerves are like wires connected to the cerebrum, the great conductor of electrical energy. These sensory nerves ramify, form branches, and spread out throughout the entire body, supplying electricity whereby all of its work is done. This electrical system runs the body, and it is actually the subtle substance with which thinking is done. For electricity is both energy and substance, although unseen by our eyes, not everybody's eyes, which are incapable of responding to this high rate of vibration as yet. And now let us take a look at bodybuilding, true bodybuilding. Within this biochemic approach, we have the law of cure, with which we supply the deficiencies based on the symptoms. And so this means day to day, month to month, year to year, consuming natural foods that contain these salts so that our body rebuilds itself daily. The salts themselves are not a quick fix, although they become very handy as a remedy and in an emergency. They do not cure, they build the body. The body must have nutriment, so taking the salts with no plan here or there is merely patching things up instead of building a new body automatically, daily. This is the basic plan for physical regeneration. Be yet perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect, aka the state of your brain, the state of your cerebrum, the state of your potassium levels. Sir Thomas Vaughan says, be transmuted from dead stones into living philosophical stones, a conversion of body into spirit and spirit into body, from corruption into a perfect mode wherein the body would be preserved continually. The medicine is, however, in heaven itself and not to be found anywhere else, yet not meaning thereby that it is remote in place or time, but rather in that center which being within us is a center that can be found everywhere. So potassium sulfate permeates all of the parts of the body in the form of an oil. The marrow of the bones is thickened oil or fat stored there to feed them. Each and every cell of the body is surrounded by and bathed in an oily, salty fluid for the same purpose. Potassium sulfate, aka Kalisulf, is correlated with mutable Virgo. Potassium in the form of potassium chloride, aka Kali myrrh, is correlated with mutable Gemini. Potassium chloride spins threads of fibrin or flesh fibers. Therefore, all the tissue, ligaments, structure of all the organs, glands, skin, etc., are made of it. Then, wise Mother Nature adds to some of these fibers a large portion of potassium phosphate, caliphos, to form electrical wires through which positive currents may pass and thus enable physiological processes to go on. The gray matter of the brain is controlled entirely by the inorganic cell salt potassium phosphate, aka caliphos. And this salt unites with albumin, and with the addition of oxygen, it creates nerve fluid or the gray matter of the brain. There are other trace salts and organic matter in nerve fluid, but caliphos is the chief factor as the electrical salt, and it has the power within itself to attract, by its own affinity, all things needed to manufacture the elixir of life. TTFN.